The county commissioners at the coast are meeting with the Kenya Film Classification Board over regulations on live stage performances. Francis Mtalaki is joining us live from Mombasa, right?
Exactly. Mtalaki, it's good to be speaking to you this morning. Perhaps you could paint an image for the audience and us, of course, here in studio, what exactly these regulations are.
Revolve around trying to regulate the live stage performances, and an area like Mombasa that many residents stay here, and also tourists. Also, when people say that there are many activities that are happening, especially at night, and so many musicians have been coming here, artists coming here in Mombasa, and today we are seeing that the county government of Mombasa, security apparatus led by the Evans Choke, who is the county commissioner, as well as the Kenya Films and Classifications Board CEO and his officials are here trying to find a common ground on how they're going to regulate this matter. But I want to bring in Mr. Ezekiel Mutua so that we can be able to talk more about this issue. Talk to us about this directive that was issued by the Minister of Interior.
As you know, the Executive Order number 1 of 2019 on the framework for coordination and implementation of national government projects and the programs directed that we all work together with the county commissioners and all the officials on the ground and synergize our activities to ensure that the execution of government programs is done in a manner that gives synergy, that utilizes resources properly and in an efficient manner. Our role as Kenya Film Classification Board is the regulation of film and broadcast content, but it has two limbs that we wanted to share with our colleagues on the ground. It has two major parts. One is the films and stage plays, or the films, let me say, which includes TV programs, cinemas, videos, and so on. And we wanted to ensure that circulation on distribution of unrated video content in this area is eradicated, because those are the tools that are used sometimes even for radicalization. And there's also a lot of content that is coming from outside, bongo music, a lot of stuff that is coming through our border points to the coast region. So one, we want to collaborate with them. Number two, the element of stage plays. Like you've rightly said, there's a lot of foreign musicians. You've heard Diamond saying, even when for being banned in Tanzania, you will relocate to Kenya, because it looks like we are the easy country or the easy place for people to come and bring even content that has been banned in their own countries. And we wanted to work with the regional commissioner and the county commissioner and the commandants and all the officials on the ground to ensure that we sensitize them about the mandate of KFCB, because they are the law enforcement agencies. They are the ones who have the prosecutorial powers, the mandate to arrest. So we want them to take charge and ensure that our kids are not exposed to immoral behavior and content by our artists.
But when we talk about regulation, and you've been able to say that so many musicians have been able to visit Kenya, and specifically for the Tanzanians, they have been here. December Diamond here, Harmonize were here. How are you going to regulate that the crowd that gets into live performances?
That is why I'm saying there's a law called films and stage plays. That is stage plays, discos, including disco matangas, including performances by
I'm talking about practicability.
The practicability of implementation is by working with these officers. KFCB just gives the policy guidelines, but the people who have the power to enforce the law are the officers that you see behind us here. They are the officials of the Ministry for Interior and the Coordination of National Government. What we should do as a government agencies is to ensure that they are aware about the law and about the implementation of that particular law called films and stage plays. So what we'll do is, working with them, we'll make it so difficult for those officials or for those musicians to perform without licenses. The important thing is, if the owner of a club, like where we are, wants to have a musician from country X, Y, Z, or even from Kenya, they all must take responsibility for what is going to be performed there. And we are going to work very closely with the officers here to ensure that the law is enforced, so that we don't have situations where people perform, where we open up to the culture of anything goes. Because, Mutalaki, ideally, the moral values that we are promoting under regulation of film content and also stage plays informs to a very great extent the kind of culture, the kind of nation, the kind of principles and values that we are going to espouse. And that speaks to how we are going to operate as a government. We cannot have a government without a culture. We cannot have a country without moral values. We cannot have a culture of anything goes. Where musicians who are banned in other countries will come and perform in Kenya, and we give them keys to our cities, and they are entertaining in the very obscene. Ukisikia hizi nyimbo za Diamond, zingine
maybe where does it put the talent basically for this country?
It has nothing to do with the undermining talent. Really, like I've always said, where there is more production, you need more regulation. You need people to say this is the right way. I always give the analogy of the road. Where the road is used by a few vehicles, you don't need to have policemen everywhere. But where there is congestion, for your own good as a citizen, you need policemen. So that when there is congestion, when somebody is veering off into your lane or blocking you, there's an officer who will say, keep to your lane. And the idea of regulation is not to control. It's not to undermine creativity. So what we are doing is to just collaborate and agree. This is the role of the Minister of Interior and the coordination of national government. This is the role of KFCB. And working together, we will ensure that no artist performs without a license, that no artist undermines the national values through the presentations and the art that they present to the public. Where they are performing in a public place, the law applies. Government regulates public space. If they are performing in their houses, probably that's a different case. But when they come to the public space, I think we need the government to be very keen. Otherwise, we are going to open ourselves to all manner of cultures and all manner of immorality.
Thank you so much for your time. Well, that was the CEO from Kenya Film and Classifications Board, Bona Ezekiel Mutua, talking to us, and he says that no artist that will be allowed to perform without a license, and also we will be focusing more to matters to do with moral and making sure that the behavioral change in most of the clubs and the musicians that will be coming here in Mombasa and the country at large will be able to behave themselves. Back to you.